up? What's going on to the folks? Family Affairs today. I'm here with my brothers. Welcome to Super Throwback to the Classics, the Cinematic Movie Podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago and beyond on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now Pandora. I'm a guy, Jay Alonso. With me, of course, is
Danger Neff, Dave. Danger Neff. How you doing, partner?
You about to get dragged today, homeboy.
Oh, I don't care. There's some shit that we watched this week.
What makes it so dope is that we've been doing this for so long, and plus we always hang around each other. The whole crew does, so we're open to like taking shit from one another, and don't feel no way about it. So today's gonna be one of those. You're getting dragged, bro. But it's all in the name of my man. All right. And of course, you see these two cats on the side of your screen. Up top, you have the head honcho, the CEO, the head boss, all that. Big Los from the Noise Podcast. Right below me is my brother as well, author, father, dope individual down below, Skylar Ward. What's going on, my man?
What's up, brother?
Gentlemen, David.
I'm not a part of this. I'm not a part of the gentleman here. My mother calls me David.
David.
Which means you're get sunned.
Fellas, how has the week been for y'all as far as continuing moving forward? And obviously, we're always spending time together as is. So, you know, as far as Beat Network's consistent rise and what we do on our day-to-day basis, like, how's the week been for y'all?
Well, it's been tiresome. It's been pretty, I won't say strenuous because I always say all the time I love doing this shit, but the world is starting to open back up for me. I am, unfortunately, back at my brick and mortar. So, yeah, trying to play catch up with everything has been a bitch for layman's terms. But, yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Other than that, I'm pretty happy, man. We've been busting our asses, beat as the team, as the squadron.
Word, Sky Diddy.
Hey, man, I'm blessed, brother. You know me. As long as I get to the gym, I'm winning. So I've been in the gym, getting my fitness back on, getting ready for this polar bear winter, getting back to being heavy set.
You ready
it's
for
good
that,
right
that
now.
Warmth. You look for that warmth.
Yeah, Scott,
good right now. It's good to be here with you fellas and David.
Hey, Skylar, how often do you work out?
Daily, every day, actually. I don't really take a day off.
How many times a day should I ask?
Twice a day.
Damn. 2 days.
Danger, how has your week been, sir?
It was good until I watched this movie.
Oh, listen, bro. If you're coming with your bullets, we're coming with our bullets too. All right. I'm gonna tell you, ready to go.
Fighting at the ankles here, trying to talk about this. No, it's been fine. It was kind of a quiet week here. I'm still recovering from like a burn that I got, and it's just same shit, different day.
You said recovering from a burn?
Yeah, I was like,
So I took a sunburn. I took the boat out over Labor Day, and just because I'm about to sound like a bougie white guy right now, and
I was waiting on it. Basically.
I got like a severe burn on my shoulders because of it. So,
well, see, in these kind of terms, it's best for you to sound like the bougie white guy because on our side, we hear you got burned. Oh, you was out here, so you were meet to meeting. What's going on? So
no.
I was about to say you're open with y'all fans, y'all. I thought we were transparent on the noise.
No. This isn't a girl let me sleep over at her place, to stay in a roommate and waking up with the roommate. Completely not expecting what the roommate was, even though they said the word girlfriend. No, it's nothing like that. But we'll talk about that here in a second.
But you know what? But with Dave, I've always given Dave that credit where, like, the one that we all went out for my birthday, and Dave showed up with the hat, like ready to like pull him through. Like you can easily see Dave walking through like a crowd of whoever, be like, "How you doing, Danger Neff, Bachelor Classics?"
Then smile. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? They're
Right.
parked over there. Actually. You know what I'm saying? All right, so this movie, which I was so excited because the reaction I've been getting since I posted it, an hour ago at this point, has been really something, right? And the fact that we all watched it together earlier today, so we're all coming in it with the exact same vision, just in case you wasn't ready, Danger Nut. But Low Down Dirty Shame, original release date November 23rd of 1994, so it turns 26 this year. Shares opening weekend with Junior, Mrs. Parker, and the Vicious Circle. Don't know what that is. And The Page Master, the Macaulay Culkin joint. Another classic that's easily slept on.
Is Junior the one where Arnold gets pregnant?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Just making sure. So
Keenan,
it was just a weekend for Hollywood that weekend.
it was an awkward weekend for sure in Hollywood that weekend for sure. Because, like, granted, nobody knew what Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle was, but The Page Master for the youngins, Junior for whomever it was targeting, and then you got us black folks for Low Down Dirty Shame. But production budget was $10 million. Box office total of $29.2 million. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
71% through audiences, 0% from.
I'm gonna say through user vote. Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Right.
But it's off because if it's 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's like 7 out of 10 on IMDb, and on other
5 stars on Amazon Prime where you watched it, Dave.
4.8 today.
Whatever. So someone gave it 4 stars.
You're mostly talking about the VHS version, you know, where you know the quality of the film that they bought, you know. Oh, they came in on time, not because the movie was good. It came in on time. That's why it's 4.8.
But one of the now watching it back today, one of the saddest things about the reality of the situation, right, is that this movie, right, as far as like in 2020, it came out in 1994. You can't find it nowhere unless you're literally going to go online and try to grab it online. But as far as like a collector's item, you know, like even a DVD, like there's no way this movie's on Blu-ray today. No way. This movie is easily forgotten about by apparently the masses, but amongst us,
Not enough to 5-star on Amazon Prime.
you know, but okay. So
you're decided to make me sing now.
Los, you remember when A Low Down Dirty Shame came to the house? We were kids, and we finally had the opportunity to watch it. Watching it back then, and then watching it today.
Oh, is that a harmonica?
I told you I was pulling out a harmonica for the sad time.
All right, your hair is cut for it too. You look like you should put it right. 100%. All right, so yeah, so watching the movie back then and watching it today, what did you pick up as far as like pros and cons of those two viewings?
I mean, well, watching it back then, like there's certain jokes that kind of go over your head, but you also kind of get it, trying to be in the know as a 5-year-old for myself. But watching it now, I mean, it was like I still love the movie. I still think it's a great movie. Certain jokes hit better for me as well. Dave, I see your face. We're gonna get to your reasoning why. But I mean, so are we giving it?
I hate your face right now, Dave. I really do.
Are we getting an overall review of it? I mean, are we giving an overall review of it now before we go through the actual movie review?
Well, no, just basic, quick idea about where your head was watching it today.
I loved it. I loved it just as much as I did as a child, probably more because of certain jokes that I understand better now.
As an adult, yeah.
Definitely a nostalgic classic for me.
Scott, say a question.
Yeah, I love this movie. I watched it religiously throughout my life. So how other people may watch Harlem Nights or something as they grew up, and you watch. I watched Low Down Dirty Shame through college, through the Air Force, through life after the Air Force. I love this movie because it's one of the few Wayans projects that doesn't irritate my soul. So.
Definitely.
Fascinating.
Isn't it?
Now, Dave, was this your first watch?
First watch ever. Jay, what was
In life?
about going back through this movie?
Second,
Jay, what was your opinion going back through this movie?
to get that guy there and that guy there to be on it with me. Because, remember, the original idea was to have Hard Target for today, right?
Sure.
And I think in the car or somewhere, someone had mentioned a Low Down Dirty Shame. And then when you think about when was the last time you've actually seen a Low Down Dirty Shame? You know, really like just chilled out and popped it on for a second, because it's not as easily accessible as other movies would be, or other movies that we've covered on the show. So that's what I'm thinking about Low Down Dirty Shame, as far as it being a Wayans Brothers movie, like Scott said, that doesn't irritate me, that literally entertains me 100% through the movie. And it's simple. It's a 90s popcorn joint. It's written cheesy. It's low-key acted cheesy. Some of the set pieces are dope as fuck. A simple villain. Great comedy. Not all the jokes hit. But this is a movie where I think 0% is bullshit. So, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and do a quick review of this movie. And then surprising enough that you've never seen it until I decided to do this movie today. So now I want to get your take about what you thought of the movie itself.
Might as well go with the full review, Dave. Might as well.
All right.
Right.
Here we go. So the pacing is whatever with this film. Like, for me, the jokes didn't always hit. And look, and let me be fair. Before I joined Beat Network, I hadn't really known black comedies. And what I mean by black comedies, I mean black action comedies, stuff like that. I've educated myself ever since then. And I can tell you that I just feel like this is first of all, it's written by Keenan, right? I know Keenan from In Living Color, and I've seen that guy write some funny ass shit. So when I expected, you were like Low Down Dirty Shame, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's written and directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans. I was like, I know him from Gonna Get You Sucker. I know him from that, and I loved him in that. Watching this, it's weak. All of it is weak. Jada Pinkett-Smith is the redeeming quality of this movie, and I still consider her just a substitute performance for Rosie Perez in White Men Can't Jump.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
I'm hitting that one again. She is
Okay. So real quick before you finish, that's
Wow.
not necessarily a diss.
no,
It's not a diss.
Because Rosie Perez was solid in White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah, it's not a diss, but it's more like there's no way you can watch this movie and only see Jada in this character.
No. And I use Rosie Perez in this case because when I see White Men Can't Jump, I love White Men Can't Jump. But knowing that Jada is not even this kind of actress, like they were talking about, she's an up-and-coming comedian. I was reading 1994 reviews on this leading up to this, and they're like, she's an up-and-coming comedian. I was like, Jada Pinkett-Smith is not funny. Like, she's never been like the funny.
As far as Jada Pinkett is concerned, around that time, that kind of is, outside of
Menace to Society?
Menace Society and Jason's Lyric.
Yeah.
She was starting to drift into that comedic place because Woo wasn't too long after this. Well, no, Woo was a bit of a minute.
Who was 98?
You
So
got to think.
But then 98, 99, you're going into what would start becoming like the Matrix trilogy version of Jada Pinkett.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
she tried it.
That's rough.
It didn't
That's
work.
rough.
I would have rather have seen Rosie Perez in that role.
What outside of the pace? Okay, so with the pacing and with like Jay mentioned or whatever, like I mentioned earlier with the '90s action cheese, I don't see this much different from a lot of the '90s action cheese movies. Like Hard Target was going to be just as '90s action cheese. It doesn't make it any less of a great movie. We was even we were on Netflix, and I think GoldenEye was on there. And GoldenEye is like, around that time, GoldenEye was big for the return of Bond, and everybody loved the movie. But it's like, what era you're watching when you watch GoldenEye.
Sure, no doubt about it. But GoldenEye committed itself to be an action movie. This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It's like there are moments in it where he's like trying to be serious into the action role, doing the whole two guns, long trench coat thing that, you get used to from 90s black action movies, he doesn't sell it. He doesn't sell it at all. I never thought for once he was badass. I never believed his like fighting action roles.
Well, even
Mendoza with the falling down elbow, and Mendoza didn't get back up. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That was a hell of an elbow, Dave.
It wasn't even the neck.
Listen. They with the trench coat, right? So the trench coat thing goes like this. He's in a trench coat from the beginning when this movie first starts, right? Because he's in this really he has all this extra layer of clothing going through LA. And we're talking about, apparently his name is actually Andre Shane. That's his actual name.
Yes. That's something.
Did you realize that the name of the actual company is called A Lowdown Dirty Shame?
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
I know you are, Dave. Okay. He runs with Peaches, played by Jada Pinkett. And go back to the trench coat. He's in that trench coat for literally 50% of the movie. When he finally glows up and gets his Don Shaft on, he's in another trench coat. It's cleaner. You know what I'm saying? He shaved. You know what I'm saying? Took a shower. Listen. Nobody is going into.
If this movie was a spoof, it would work. But the movie's not trying to act like a spoof. It's literally trying to act like a franchise. But he's spoofing Shaft.
I don't think I would want a sequel to this joint. But I think if he did one that was almost right after it, all right, I probably would have took. I probably would have definitely been into Shame 2 or whatever he was going to call it.
Now, I definitely wouldn't have been into another low down dirty shame.
Still a low down dirty shame.
Because I feel like it was suffering from sequelitis. The same situation that we got from Shaft 2, which was also named Shaft. It would have ultimately became a parody of itself, even though Dave already sees it as a parody of itself.
Shafted, I'm telling you.
Yo, Scott, tell me, bro, the opening scene, and let Dave know, make sure I'm not tripping. That opening scene when you get the diamond exchange, you get the introduction to Peaches, going through the hotel hallway, going to our first introduction to Shane. What does that opening scene do for you?
It puts you in that place. It's a time period movie. You know where you're at with that movie. And to give Jada her just due, she just came off A Different World that ended in 93. So she was considered a comedic type of actress because A Different World at that point when she left into the show before it ended, it was more of a funny role that she played on the show. So this was a smooth transition into this general realm. But I love this movie. I have ultimate bias for it because I felt like it didn't need to be a sequel. It did not need a sequel. God, no. But, as a movie by itself, it stood alone by itself, pretty solid for the time period, right? That's what we're arguing against. I put this against like a Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I put it against, it was a funny movie that just had some really weird points. I will go with Dave. I do agree with Dave that the sequencing of events is just random. It's like the longest day in LA ever. Like it's like
You
what
don't
is
know
going
what
on
time
in
it
LA?
is. You know what time is it?
Right? Like, so I would give Dave that. But I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. I think it definitely just puts you back in that space. Like you know where you're at when you watch this movie.
It's 90s cheese. It's just black 90s cheese.
90s
But,
cheese. Bro.
Now, one thing I will address real quick. One thing I will address is where I also agree with Dave is you can tell that this is Keenen Ivory Wayans. Where the hell Wayans come from? Keenen Ivory Wayans' first outing on this kind of a movie because the opening scene that you just mentioned, getting to the park with Peaches and the diamond, that's when it's dope. But we can't excuse the cheesy newspaper clippings explaining shit. And like if you don't read newspaper
I'm
clippings,
just gonna let you know what's going on here.
right, you're not gonna understand Sonny's point at the end when he's talking about splitting it 5 ways and somebody had to take the blame. Like, why is he no longer this highly decorated cop? Why is he now a bounty hunter?
Right.
Unless you read those news clippings. Like that whole last scene wouldn't make sense. So I do think he went for regular 90s cheese action was okay, let's just explain this out through reading. Let's make y'all read.
Yeah, because as you go through the newspaper clippings, but just before it cuts to the next scene, it's like it said Sub-Zero. Then it was like, what is about that Sub-Zero clipping that I bet your money is really bad, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? But
Fresh out the Mortal Kombat.
It's like this again, going back to like this movie tried to play off a love triangle thing, but for most of this movie, Wayans is trying to treat Peaches like a little sister. Like it was really bothersome for me after a while because I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, okay, he's really either treating her like an assistant, which is fine, or he's treating her like a little sister. Like, I need you to go do this for me. I need you to go run this errand for me. I need you to go do this. And it's like it wasn't earned at the end, and it felt awkward to me when I finally saw them like actually like make out. Because I'm like, are y'all related? Because y'all are treating yourself like you're related.
But what you got to give it credit, even though it may not have done the best job at it, where you got to give the movie credit is it didn't have any continuity errors. It addressed all that. It addressed why he's treating her like a half assistant, half sister, because he's known her since she was 16, and now she's 22, going on to be 23. You know what I'm saying? Like, it addresses the continuity.
What makes it?
But
what makes it weird is when they kiss, R. Kelly comes on. So it's like there's no unhearing that.
That's also really bad. That's
the
really
timing of R. Kelly dropping is like,
man. We're doing it like that. Oh, shit. But I feel like they do explain that part, and we'll get to that part when we get there. But they do explain that part because you probably didn't feel it because of how they're first introduced on the screen. But then, off rip, you already know Shane is a down on his luck, a broke private investigator, taking whatever job he could possibly get. And then you get this introduction to Charles S. Dutton, who was overly aggressive in this movie. He's like overly aggressive, but he's also very quick to get put in his place. You know what I'm
saying? Overly aggressive in everything. He was overly aggressive in Rock, in the show Rock. The only
fucking Sonny Rough on every goddamn thing.
Like, the only movie he chilled out was what, Legion?
Yeah. But he died in Legion. That was terrible.
That's back then. True.
So
guy, get Charles S. Dutton.
Sonny shows up to the Low Down Dirty Shame private investigator office and offering Shame a chance to locate and find the chick that needs today, played by Sally Richardson, and also get an opportunity to kill a drug lord that he thought he killed before, but turns out isn't actually dead. And Ernesto Mendoza is who he is. Now, one of my biggest issues with this is the fact that they don't really give me enough Mendoza. Like, I was really interested in Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
the only time you really get to see Mendoza be kind of boss is when he's checking Charles S. Nut, when he's checking Sutton. But also at that time, to fast forward a little bit, when Sonny comes to the crib to kind of check him, he's going off. Like, he walks through the front door, calls the dude in the front, calls the doorman fat, right? And he goes right in to try to check Mendoza. And as he's talking that shit, every henchman is forming behind him just in case he wants to act crazy.
So no one's watching the perimeter anymore.
No. They heard you up in there yelling. We got to go see what's going on.
Different kind of energy in here right now.
Can we talk about Shane's like office? Was this like an automobile like, garage?
The garage.
Because this dude had a whole set of 45 to get up into his office, you know, just to take phone calls. It's like, bro, you could rent your apartment out. You know, you're so worried about not being able to make rent. And then when he gets like a $5,000 check, I'm like, you can't make rent on $5,000? You're paying too much for your building, Shane.
It's a black thing. He can't rent an office. Rent and an office? You gotta choose one.
Yeah, and this is 90s LA, so you know, you gotta choose one. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them gotta go. But
don't forget, Peach was making $4.50 an hour. plus benefits, which was fucking.
She was making $4.45.
$4.45 an hour in LA. God.
In 94 LA. And she could afford all her bills. So no, this is on Shane.
You know why? Because she saved $100 last year, and Shane can learn the thing too from saving $100 last year. I was like, is that all you saved? Like the whole year?
Man.
Right.
She was 20-something years old, man. That's good.
That's a 1994 LA $100. That's about a stack everywhere else right nowadays.
So
$4.45, yes.
Shit. Dave, as far as the task at hand that Shane is given to track down Ernesto Mendoza and find what's her name?
The girl.
Angela. Boom. So how did you feel when you saw that whole, basically your plot point kind of playing out? Because I know at this point you're not too much really care about the pacing and or the writing. So what did you think about Charles S. Dutton and his aggressiveness?
It's you know, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Repetitive.
Bad.
I've already seen before. It's nothing really, you know, new. You always have the guy that comes in out of nowhere with a mysterious check. That's like, this is for you. If you can do this little thing for me, and then I don't know, like it's repetitive. I also don't understand like Shane's interaction with the police force. You know, because it's like the chief really hates his fucking guts for no reason whatsoever outside of the fact that he's black, you know, which you know what, that would be accurate in 1990s LA.
94 LA, yeah.
Kudos to Shane for getting that one right.
But also, again, we're going into continuity. Now I'm going to kind of skip ahead and come back at the same time. The only reason he didn't like Shane because he felt like Shane was reckless. So when Shane made that joke, he was like, you know, you had that bust all by yourself, and he made Shane get out. He brought that same energy at the end. Like, okay, well, I'll take all the credit. He made Shane leave again. Like, nah, I'm gonna get this credit for this big bust. I'm not gonna give it to you, but you're mad reckless.
Right.
So it's kind of new. He just doesn't like Shane's recklessness. He feel like Shane's recklessness is a hindrance and something bad for their department. So that's
Last Action Hero. They literally had that whole plotline in Last Action Hero.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. You know what they also had that plot line in? You want to know what they also had that plot line in? Bad Boys. And don't you love Bad Boys, Dave?
But Last Action Hero was before Bad Boys.
But don't you love Bad Boys?
Last Action Hero was a kid movie.
This is grown shit.
Right.
Low
Last
Down
Action Hero is for children.
A Low Down Dirty Shame fell right in the pocket of that era of 90s action movies.
Yeah, but at least with Bad Boys, the movie's actually funny and well acted.
To you,
Because it had to you.
Ridiculous.
You saw the.
No. The first Bad Boys is cool. But for the time period, these are all in these lanes. It's just in this.
Like the actual plot points of a movie like this. Because honestly, I said this earlier. If you think about it, if you take away the comedy of it all, and I'm also gonna say that this movie has comedic gems that will never not be funny. Like, will never not be funny. But before that, though, hold on. But before that, though, you take away the comedy, and you have these plot points about what he has to do and his relationship with Peaches and this three-way, this love triangle. This is an LA noir movie about a private investigator. I honestly got the truth, and we love these. These are the LA Confidentials. These are the anything that's set in LA at a certain time period in LA. You throw some comedy in there. Now it's different, but at the same time, plot points wise, it's the same shit. Like the '90s, it bled that shit. It was the same plot point for a long period of time. Am I right? Am I wrong?
It was all the same pocket.
Right.
And that's why we
Absolutely
say.
Right.
That's why we say die hard on the bus, die hard on the boat, die hard on the plane. Like, it's the same shit.
Right, but the difference between like Die Hard. Okay, a perfect example. If we're gonna talk like trope wise, then sure, yeah, it's formulaic. That was the word I was looking for before. It's formulaic, right? The thing was with those movies, they at least had something a little bit special about them. You know, and Air Force One, we agreed. Gary Oldman really brought that movie out. We even admitted that the movie got so much worse the minute Gary Oldman gets out of the picture. With this, like, nothing about it sold me. Like, I wasn't like, yeah, no, that's a kick-ass scene. It's just like some of the dialogue is just so bad sometimes. It's like what was the one in the hotel? It was like
Say hi to Arnold.
There's like a whole bunch of AK-47s everywhere, and Shane runs to the restaurant, and the guy's like, "Will you be joining us for lunch?" And he's like, "No, I think I'll take mine to go."
It's 90s cheese, David. It's 90s cheese, David. Listen,
it's Wayans 90s.
Wayans 90s cheese.
That's the got you. It's a Wayans. It reminds you every few scenes that it's still a Wayans movie.
Okay, fine. You want to throw out that it's a Wayans flick that's 90s cheese?
Yes.
No.
And Keenen is
writing.
Exactly. Here's my thing.
Hilarious.
One, Keenan had other writers on The Living Color. It wasn't him by himself.
Well, just him, right?
Okay. Two,
that writer.
Right. Two, you have to sit there and think. You got to think before this movie, like you pointed out, I'm going to get you, sucker. You got to think about Hollywood Shuffle. You have to think about the movies that Keenan did prior to this. He had never done anything like this. So if this was your first attempt, right, you're coming in with the bias of In Living Color. So you wanted a spoof-ass movie like I'm going to get you, sucker. And it wasn't that. He actually attempted to shoot for something.
And then real quick,
I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker had even better action than this movie did.
No,
I'm gonna. Oh my God! What?
That's what?
What was the big action piece to this?
The big set piece in this movie was basically going to be the sports chalet explosion, which was hilarious. But the sports chalet.
I'm singing it in my head. I'm
literally singing it right now myself. But granted, it's fucking ridiculous. We get that, and if you think about it, you only kill like 3 people at best. But when when you watch him do what he do, when he pokes the fuel and he does all that shit, I'm not sure this shit actually can work or not. but he puts the tennis balls in the joint, fills it up with gas, and then shoots it back at the store, making it blow.
It's the 90s. You can make any of that shit work.
I mean, logically, that probably makes zero fucking sense. But at the time, it was cool. And then it's also cool to know that you know Keenan the way you know Keenan from A Living Color, or I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, or Hollywood Shuffle. Don't forget, after this, Keenan doesn't direct another movie for like 6 years. Because after this comes Scary Movie. Because every time he dropped a new flick and that shit didn't do well, he stopped directing. And now, but acting-wise, between this comes The Glimmer Man, which is no comedy, just action. Or some comedy, I guess, on Keenan's bit. But and then let's not forget Most Wanted.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
And you know what I'm saying? After that, Keenan stops being an actor. He's strictly a director now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that
but you know what? Now that you mentioned Most Wanted, see, even in that one, it's a line. We're a Marine. We don't plan. We improvise. That's not a. You don't care about that line. It's just the '90s cheese line. That's what '90s. You needed something to sell the commercial. All movies in the '90s did the exact same thing.
He had a really bad line.
Yes.
Like sometimes I plan shit. Like ooh,
I guess for me, when I think of like those classic '90s movies, I think of a movie that is quotable, right? Okay, and action comedies already tough to do, and they hadn't figured it out in the '90s, no doubt about it. Unless it was spoof, okay, like Hot Shots, right, or Naked Gun, right? Naked Gun is considered one of the best trilogies of all time, and it's all spoof. It's all spoof, right? I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is spoof on the action comedy, and it's great. It's great at everything that it tries to do. Same thing with, once again, if we're going to talk the Wayans, the Wayans are known for their spoof movies. So for me to see it, you could see the weakness of it more than anything else, because it's like I almost would have preferred if the movie committed one way or the other. Am I going to be funny? If I'm going to be funny, then because there's like ridiculous scenes in this movie that can really, really be funny if it wasn't for the fact that they just had kind of a other weak drama piece that happened before. That's what I'm talking about with the pacing. I didn't know when to feel like to laugh. That's the weakness of this film.
But then you really got to think about like everything that was an action comedy that was coming out in the early '90s that didn't star Eddie fucking Murphy. Right, and then fast forward down the road.
And that's a really solid point.
Yeah. Now you take another familiar face like a Keenen Ivory Wayans, who was at that time was still also known for working with Eddie Murphy and doing Raw and all that type of shit, right? So and then you're familiar with his work. So and mind you, everybody is going to take it in as different as they possibly can.
Yeah, of course.
You somebody like a Keenen Ivory Wayans, and you know his history. Because don't forget, he also has a fucking talk show as well in the next year. You know what I'm saying? So Keenen Ivory Wayans was really kind of dipping into everything. Like,
and I'm all for that. Again, I'm not trying to knock Wayans on what he did the rest of his career. I'm just saying this was weak for him.
So, okay, so have you seen Most Wanted?
That's pretty weak.
Oh, actually, I haven't. I'll be 1,000% honest. No, I haven't. Wait, maybe.
Most Wanted. It's Keenen Ivory Wayans and John Voight. John Voight's the double-crossing general, whatever.
I'm gonna be honest. I had no intentions on dragging Dave. I did want to hear his reasoning behind why he thought it was weak, but it's just one of those things where it's subjective. Like me, I had the exact feelings you have towards Low Down Dirty Shame, I have towards the very first Lethal Weapon, and that could be seen as a blasphemous opinion in movies. But I have those exact same feelings. Now, why do I enjoy it more Low Down Dirty Shame than I would with a Lethal Weapon? I can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? It literally becomes one of those different strokes type situations. You know what I mean?
No, and
I was so curious.
Right, and I get that. And again, I'm not necessarily trying to trash the movie. No, I don't think it's a 0%. I personally probably wouldn't give it higher than a 25%. There are enjoyable parts to the movie. All right, it's just, man, sometimes you really want to see it. You want to see commitment to it. It's like they almost try to play it too safe in this movie. I would have preferred.
No, I can't say that because, and actually that's the perfect segue to the Wayman character.
Wait, hold on. But before we say it, finish the point, Dave.
Okay.
If
we're going to talk about the Wayman character, there's already problems with that character. But what I mean is that
this guy's watching Caribbean women.
And he hit him. He hit him like it wasn't him.
I'm watching myself. That's the issue. What's going on?
So again, like the movie just doesn't take the risks, the big risks that you want to take with it. On a $10 million budget, there's only so much that you can really do on that. But I just, there's not an action sequence. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. There's not a joke that just like stands out to me that I couldn't stop laughing until Wayman gets introduced, because it's so homophobic.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
Homophobic.
I was like, what?
Until Wayman is
Florida Day at all.
Okay. Until Wayman is introduced, which, mind you, is 40 minutes into this film. 40 minutes into this film is when I finally got my first laugh out of this movie, where you get the introduction of Wayman, and you kind of laugh. You kind of laugh because he's laying in bed together, and he's just a caricature of every gay black man that has happened up until that point, and it's so homophobic. It's rotten. It's almost too hard, but you can't help but laugh.
Is it really?
It is. I'm gonna act like I'm gonna.
Is it really?
Take a shower and act like I just wasn't in the crying game. Come on, that's.
Is it homophobic?
It's homophobic.
I don't think it's homophobic. Phobia is a fear. So it's not gay fear. It's not homophobic. I would assert he was okay with him being gay. He was not okay with him being him as a man. That's not really a homophobia. That's more an assertion of my own sexuality that I prefer not to lay in bed with a man. And I thought it was a woman.
and also when
he's cool with him being gay. That's why he even did the gay scene at the spa. Like he was. It wasn't that the gay thing wasn't the problem.
He created jealousy in another couple. In doing so.
That shit was hilarious.
And also sometimes it really does come down to those players playing that way exactly because think about it. Bernard was that way in Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah.
Bernard was kind of worse in Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
It's hard. I understand the stereotypical tropes. We can't also escape that some of these tropes are how it actually happens. Like watching the movie, and this is no bullshit. B, Skylar, J easily compare Wayman to somebody we knew back in Mojave.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So it's like, and I guess that's what made it funnier for us at least.
Right.
And everyone that has a gay friend knows that one. If you have multiple gay friends, they know one of them is like that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right. So, as far as like the comedy, right? As far as the comedy bits, what did you find enjoyable there?
We can stop talking about me here. Like,
well, because I know with these two, they're gonna give me those moments that had them like to this day a gut busting laugh or just a good genuine laugh. For you though, especially on your first time seeing it, what's those bits for you?
It was okay. The Wayman character brought life to it. All right, Jada Pinkett was fine for the most part. She was more cute than she was funny. Like haha. Yeah, no, I totally get what you guys are going for here. There wasn't, but until Wayman's introduced, that was the only real like, haha, that this movie got out of me. Even afterwards, I was like, okay, that was pretty much it.
So that was it.
That was it.
All right, Scott, give me your comedy bits, man.
Okay. Clearly, I love when Peaches runs into the reality TV star, the soap opera star.
Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious.
You know what?
I love
that was also very funny. I'm sorry.
that's hilarious because I feel like that's how some people really are still to this day. Like we are about Tariq from Power. If you saw him in the street, you want to sleep him. Like, I know you playing a character, but I really don't like you in real life, bro. You know, so you can connect with that. I love Kim Wayans in the jewelry. I mean, in the boutique, having her little moment, thinking she won the radio prize. That was hilarious. Any moment like Dave touched on with Wayman in it is good to me. And I like the scene when Mendoza flips the script, pulls the knife out on Sonny. Because that makes me laugh. Because Sonny, his voice change is so
fast,
hilarious. He just switched up quick as hell. So like those are my funny moments. But of course, like Dave pointed out, there's some, or I think Jay pointed it out, like the sports chalet dive off. You know, when he takes the gun, it's kind of funny to me. You know, there's scenes that are not meant to be comedic that are terribly hilarious.
Right, man. Okay, Los, what you got?
Literally the exact same thing Skylar says. Also got to put in, even though it was quick, I got to put in Peaches checking the room because like those reactions felt genuine. You know what I'm saying? Especially with someone who you kind of established out the gate. Peaches was like was one not to be fucked with. She doesn't care about what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a standout scene. Like I said, everything Skylar said was definitely in there. The scene where they get, what are they in a bar or something where he's initially trying to get taps on Mendoza, and he goes in there and he ends up getting into it with them. The white supremacist scene was hilarious. The way he sets him up, and it was all that I even mentioned when I was watching it. It was hilarious because when you're just completely oblivious to where you are, it's like, damn, you walked out in the middle of my hate speech, smoking a cigarette in my shit.
In my hate speech?
Excuse me, where the exit at? And you were colored? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, to me that's just one of those like think about it type comedy pieces. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the chasing, how everything's set up. So I thought that whole rundown was great. I'm not trying to just name the shit that Skylar named as well because I agree with all that.
I'm sorry, I ran through a lot of. I had to gas.
There was one more that was like the argument between Peaches and Angela was. I feel like it gave you a solid tension comedic moment between the two. And obviously, Peaches brought the comedy, like especially when Angela's telling this long story. You don't see Peaches throughout this story. And then she turns around and says to the bitch, "We had to put the little bitch to bed." And when it finally cuts to Jada Pinkett, you can see her putting, saying two and two together. Like, wait, are you calling me a dog? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I thought all those pieces was great. I love the movie, so I'm in the same bias category.
I'll say this: one of my favorite scenes, my favorite comedy bits. It's in the middle of I guess a somewhat tense moment when Mendoza and Shane, now officially like Shane's cleaned up now, face to face with his enemy. They meet at the club, and everybody got the guns out and all that. But he makes the dude Mendoza guy shoot himself in the dick, which already sucks off top. But he makes the girl switch her mind up because he tried to get at the girl. She's like, I ain't with that. Pulled the gun out. It was 555-6969. And right, but of course, Wayman's in the club. Mendoza sees Wayman, knows that Wayman knows Shane, so Mendoza points the gun at Wayman. And of course, your '90s cliche slow motion run, right? and we're led to believe for a moment that women get shot, but then he goes to this overreactive, oh Lord, all that shit. Come to find out it's red wine, and so when Bernard gives him and the best performance by whatever, Miss Wayman, this nigga just
Thank you so much.
kills me, dog. Funniest shit ever, man. I love it. Love it. All right, so where we are with this. All right, so that final scene when there is the official showdown, shootout, or lack thereof, really, with Mendoza at the mall. When Mendoza manages to kidnap Peaches, and Sonny's basically, all right, so Sonny's dirty, you know, and now you get this whole rundown with Mendoza at the mall. How did you feel about that action scene, Dave? The whole sequence.
Who, me?
Yes. I asked about the comedy, you know, not for like the action bits. This is the third act. This is the final showdown between Shame and the bad guy with like a 5-guy SWAT team and a hella underpaid mall security. So, how did you feel about that?
I mean, it's John Wooish, right? It's very wooish in the action bit, right? So, because he's just basically taking those action sequences straight up from the 2 trench coat thing, you know, and that's fine. I like the bungee cord scene. That was legitimately like kind of eye-rolling comedy in my eyes, but action is a little bland, just gonna be honest. Yeah, it was just a little bland for my taste. But say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, you know, to Rottweilers, because Rottweilers can understand that.
Continuity. Rottweilers.
It came from earlier. Right.
And then you realize the shit worked. So, and then when my man tried it, $1 bill, that shit didn't work.
He went with what he knew.
That's what happened. He knew what he knew. You know, Shane knew James. He didn't know James.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, the way this movie flows on, like, I can really say I have no complaints. Like, now rewatching it today, I really have like 0 complaints. Maybe, and even the way it ties up, you would think it would leave you with some sort of a questioning about stuff. But no, it pretty much ties up like, all right, so we know how much money he's going to get. We know Peaches and Shane eventually they become an item and a partners, if you will. And cue the credits. I don't really see how 0% really came to be 0%.
So the only reason I see why 0% became 0% is because of the people that do the critiquing on Rotten Tomatoes. They look for certain things that, you know, help get their score. We've seen a bunch of great movies get 0% but have like a 95 in the user rating. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you for me, I look back at that era and the only 2 complaints I say I have about the movie is like what Dave said. It's extremely formulaic for the times. Because the same things that we saw that happen in A Low Down Dirty Shame, we saw happen in Hard Target, we saw happen in Double Team, we saw happen in Lethal Weapon. Like, it was extremely formulaic. So from that side, I absolutely understand. But I guess that's also the reason why I enjoyed it. And I guess when you enjoy it back in that time, you can't help but to enjoy the nostalgia aspect of it. You kind of watch with rose-tinted glasses. If this had been my first time seeing it, I could possibly have the same feelings that Dave has. But you know what I'm saying? But when you're watching it in that time, when you're constantly getting that kind of that style of movie, it ends up falling in line. You know, it's like the hip hop conversation about Nas and Illmatic. Illmatic was huge for its time. Illmatic was huge for its city. But then if you put Illmatic against Good Kid, Mad City, if you're not already in that pocket of Illmatic is the greatest album ever, you're going to be like, No, Good Kid, Mad City is definitely better than Illmatic. So is Good Kid the greatest city? You know, the greatest city, greatest album. You know, I think it's coming up with that time. That I didn't see much of a difference between how formulaic Low and Dirty Shame was versus all the other movies that I named. Secondly, I also agree with Dave. I would have much rather had a different end sequence between Keenen Ivory Wayans and Shame and Mendoza. I felt like there was a lot of built up tension from, oh well, I know you've been trying to stop me, and we got deeper beef because of the issues that you taking my girl and everything from me. I felt like we built up a lot for a very quick scene, but then you also recognize that scene was quick because they had to squeeze in the Peaches Angela fight scene. You know what I mean? So I felt like that part seemed rushed. That part was trying to establish, okay, we've been hearing all this stuff about Peaches. Let's see how she really get down. So I felt like that part where you were trying to wrap up too many, you're trying to be too deep in the continuity and trying to wrap things up. So those I definitely agree with you. But it doesn't change anything for me. I still love the movie. I had some great laughs watching this movie.
Yeah.
Scott, what you got?
Man, I'm in between Dave and Los, man. I kind of had a little bit of everybody. The reality is I love the movie because I never looked at it like an action. I never looked at Low Down Dirty Shame like an action movie, right? For me, it was always designed to be a comedic movie. If I see the name Wayans, I don't go serious film. Like, my mind just doesn't do it because I'm like, that's not what they do.
Except what was the drug?
I looked at it as a,
even though it was just Marlon.
Requiem for a Dream.
That's the only one you was like, okay.
Yeah.
You see Marlon doing that, like,
right.
Whoa, Marlon gets dark.
But that's such a rare case, right?
Exactly.
So for me, it's Low Down Dirty Shame. For me, it hits a lot of points. It has replay value for me. It has nostalgia. I feel like the music sets the scene for me. I loved a lot of the damn songs from the soundtrack growing up. So it took me back to a time. It puts me back into that moment, watching this when I was younger, when you're a kid, waking, and then you watch it when you get older. And like Lo said, some of the jokes just hit better because you're an adult. You understand now. You're like, oh, okay. So for me, it's not terrible. It predates Bad Boys. Any idea of what Bad Boys 1 was even going to be, because Bad Boys 1 came out in 95. This came out in 94. So it falls into this really weird space of, was it outstanding? No, because it probably got a 0% because they treated it as an action comedy. And it really is not an action comedy. I feel like it's just a comedy that has one action scene. That's the mall scene. The fucking car chase scene is hilarious, but it's not, to me, that's even still funny because they did the blonde wig and did the walkout and they got in the Jeep and took off. Like, the only action scene is the mall, but the whole movie for me is a comedy, so it doesn't lose any points to me as a comedy.
All right, well then let's get into some takeaways. Let's start with Big Lo since we get that guy at work.
Shame. That goes without question. Definitely Shame. If I had to, I can't really have a backup guy that guy award. It's Shame. I'm gonna have a backup, maybe the cop that hit the chick in the wheelchair, but other than that, Shame easily.
That chick award.
That chick gotta go to Peaches. Despite the feelings towards it, and I won't say from who, I feel like she really tied down that side. Like, I got genuine sidekick from Peaches' character. Pete, I just pluralize the plural? From Peaches.
Peaches.
Get a continuity.
That full award.
That fool gotta go with Sonny. Gotta go with Sonny. Like, Sonny really thought he was that dude until he, went head up with that dude. And Mendoza wasn't having that. To know that Sonny's downfall was him just being a hornbag, just for a little bit, kind of toying with her a little bit. that he didn't see the gunshot coming. Yeah, he's definitely the biggest fool in this because nothing about his plan worked out.
No. Cut that out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I would cut anything out, and the only reason I wouldn't is because it seems like too much may have already been cut out. Like there's a director's cut that we'll never see of a Low Down Dirty Shame because it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. I feel like that may be the one that Dave likes because you know what I'm saying with the pace, like you can tell by the pacing some shit is missing.
Right.
So I don't know if I would cut anything out. I feel like I would add if y'all had a put that back in section of this show, I would definitely put back in whatever was left from the cutting room floor.
Does it hold up?
To me, yes, absolutely.
Hold on,
I got bigger laughs watching it this time than I did as a kid because I just understand certain shit better now.
It's 26 years old now. How long do you think it'll hold up? How much more time does it have?
Not too much longer, only because of the sensitivity of the era that we're living in. That's probably why you can't find it in the places that you know what I'm saying that you would hope to find it. That's why you don't see it brought up in many conversations or like that. But when you do bring it up, it's one of those oh yeah type movies, like the conversation that's been going on when you guys posted that we were doing this. It won't hold up too much longer because a lot of those tropes just didn't age well.
And iconic scene.
Iconic scene. Wayman. That whole layout from waking up with Wayman up until Peach is going to get Wayman the shampoo. that whole block right there. It was just consistently funny. And that's the standout for me.
All right. Sky, give me that guy work.
See, I'm not even going to waste time on this. My answers are almost in line with those for the first three. Okay, so it's going to go Shane, Peaches, Sonny. That's my first, all day.
All right, cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out. See, I wouldn't necessarily say I'll cut out a specific scene, but I don't feel like Angela's character was necessary. Had you taken Angela out of the movie, she didn't really add anything besides the fact she killed Sonny. I mean, she was because Shane had already found the money in her storage unit and stuff. If she wasn't in the movie, it wouldn't have mattered. It was just nice to have one more female character that offset, like Dave said, right, the kid feeling you got from Jada, like the youthfulness. You had Angela play the grown and sexy seductress. So, I mean, she played that role, and that was kind of her position. But if she didn't happen in the movie, it wouldn't have taken away from her.
All right. Does it hold up?
I think it holds up, and I say this because, like I said, I've watched this movie continuously throughout my life. So, and I think it holds up because I put Wayans movies in their own box, right? And so, like I said earlier, there's only certain Wayans movies that are just nonsensical to me, but this movie is where in White Chicks they got the one that scene. It's not an original joke, but if you haven't seen Low Down Dirty Shame, you don't even know. Yeah, oh, that's where that comes from. So it goes to show you that how much Keenan set the foundation for his family, because they took so much stuff even later on from his projects that didn't work for him. They found a way to make it work for them. So I think you have to. Yes, I think you got to say it has weight in that space because you, like Dave said, right? There's the Keenan movies and then everybody else movies. So it's kind of you kind of got to talk about it. I don't think it's going to have. It doesn't currently have replay value right now, like holding up moving forward. I don't see our kids watching Low Down Dirty Shame and loving it like we did, but. So, but I think it's already played out. Like you guys said, it was hard to find, to even watch.
Iconic scene.
For me, it's going to be The spa, the slap, and the Bernard. Like you can't unhear Bernard. You meet somebody named Bernard, you're gonna say Bernard. It's the funniest shit in the world, and you can't help but laugh because it's so funny. It's just like, so for me, the spa scene is it. You know, what is it? If you would like some vanilla and you like, call me, bro. That's the end of that, bro. That's the funniest shit in the world.
That's an argument I would love.
I think it doesn't poke fun. Yeah, I don't think it pokes fun at being gay. I think if the characters are true to the time, because at the time it wasn't considered offensive. Now, like Lo said, we're so soft about shit. Even gay people I know, my friends and family, love that scene. So I don't know if I have a hold a negative opinion of it. Those scenes with Wayne are it.
Right. Danger.
Oh, before you give Dave's, I love Dave's face during our explanations because he's like, you're looking like there's this joy that they got from this movie. I
just did not get.
I'm like mad that I didn't get this joy because I never get the three of you on a show. So I'm really upset. Now I need to go.
We should watch it together.
And waste
we really should.
2 hours.
We should watch it. We should all watch it together.
I feel like I can come back and review this. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Who's gonna get that guy award, man?
Wayman, easily.
Wayman get the that guy.
Wait, Wayman gets you that guy award?
Yes. Wayman gets that guy.
All right.
Wanna why? Because he breathes life into the movie. The movie at least gets somewhat ridiculously funny anytime he gets on screen. And it's unfortunate because that actor died after this movie.
He died before the movie came out, actually.
Yeah, before the movie came out, he died from pneumonia. And you could see that there was a lot of potential with what he was doing in this that was absolutely ridiculous. But it doesn't matter. It would have been a lot of fun to kind of see where it would have gone. Yes, Wayman. That's that guy.
That chick award.
We'll give it to Peaches. Peaches at least is serviceable in the short round fashion, in the Rosie Perez fashion, and she's serviceable.
Dave's whole thing is like, I like this restaurant because they cook food, you know?
Exactly. They cook.
It's like, so I can do karate. It's like, okay, I guess you're going to show us that you can do karate. Why does Mendoza know Muay Thai? Nobody explains that. He just knows Muay Thai. Do you understand how difficult it was in Mexico to learn Muay Thai, of all things? In the 90s? In the 90s. There wasn't a whole bunch of fucking gyms. There was like a dog pit.
We didn't know Mendoza pre-facial structure. We don't know what he was about.
Right.
Very true. Where we at? That full award?
And I'll tell you why. Before he shaves his head, he has a different fucking haircut in every shot of the film.
So we all saw it. We all saw it.
We've all seen it.
Yes.
Yes. A goddamn haircut. It's annoying.
Okay. So Dave, in this situation, because you wouldn't understand because you're not a part of the club just yet.
What do you mean?
You can only put
Not like this, Dave.
this in so much. He looked like LeBron the whole movie. You can only do but so much.
It was bad. It was so bad. It was so bad that it may have actually been a continuity error.
Would you take this over all of John Travolta's hair rolls?
Good question. I like the question.
Except
Great hair.
you said what?
And then he looks like a woman before. So I guess I'll give this. But no, he doesn't have the same goddamn haircut in this movie until he shaves his head. And then he looks like Shaft. And I'm like, it's
It was his Shaft moment.
Shaft looks like him. Kente Kofi.
All right.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
That Fool Award goes to shame. To Keenen Ivory Wayans for having more talent than this film deserved. And you didn't.
But he wrote it.
No, he wrote it. Exactly. But he also wrote In Living Color and was head writer. I looked it up in the process.
All right, cut that out.
Whole Rottweiler scene.
The Rottweiler scene.
it's like now you want to be funny. Now you want to do something completely goofy in this that's not going to be offensive. It's I'm black and I'm proud. I'm like, oh my God, please.
But you have to expect that was going to come like that whole even mention about you seeing James Brown, dogs want to tag. Yeah, you knew that was coming back around sometime.
Guy's lair. Why are you stinging to dogs?
To not get bitten in the ass.
Because according to the National Enquirer, if you see James Brown,
they want to attack.
Right.
Hey, did you watch the movie, Dave?
That's what Jada said. He said, thank you.
Content Nua T.
Only person that didn't have it was Mendoza.
Yeah, that's it. Mendoza and Keenan's hair, the only two things that didn't have continuity in this entire movie.
and Keenan's hair.
That's it, exactly. Keenan's hair. Only two
does it hold up?
Keenan's hair didn't even want to be part of this movie. No.
It wasn't there. It was almost.
It was so bad.
You look Cuban in one scene.
No, it doesn't hold up. No, I'm sorry. This movie is perfect for 1994. It aged about 5 years afterwards, and then everybody's like, okay, we're kind of done with this.
Dave's opinion is just like mine when it came to Beverly Hills Ninja. The only difference is Dave didn't see it as a kid. I loved Beverly Hills Ninja as a kid, but when I tell you I destroyed that movie when I was going back to so much so that it's you guys most will listen to episode because of the dragging that I gave the movie.
He did everything except say,
I love that movie, man.
Look, I know I'm not going to get any fans from this episode.
Not any black ones.
And you know what? Let me take something out. Let me think from your eyes for a second. Watching it as a kid, this probably would have done a lot better with me because it would have laughed. There was some goofiness with it that kind of worked. As an adult, like watching it for my first time as a super throwback, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is the month of our super throwbacks, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be, Jay like told me, he's like, yeah, let's do Low Down Dirty Shame, it's Wayans Brothers pick, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down, no problem, because we just did Scary Movie, and I fucking love Scary Movie. It was one of my favorite movies of the 90s. That's how much I love that movie. So to see this, like it was such a temper of expectations, it was like getting Monday night strippers, like you're going there to see some titties, but most of them have surgical implants and lopsided,
What the hell?
Some of them was just handed their kid a bag of Cheerios.
All I got was and black licorice for Halloween. And that's what this movie reminded me
Taking
of.
phone calls mid-dance and shit.
Or what was that, like Skelebanes or something like that? It tastes like Robitussin. That's what
Terrible. Terrible.
All right, so do I dare ask, is there an iconic scene?
Is there an iconic scene? Yes. The scene with women, the introduction to women. That entire sequence is so bad and funny to me that I can't help but laugh because it's just so ridiculous. But oh man, the crying game joke is bad that I laughed at it, but it was really, really funny.
I laughed then because I knew what crying game was.
I knew what crying game was.
I heard that and I was like, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's a hard stroke. And that's what I wanted more. I would have really liked for this movie to have just go the extra step on. Get me a little bit more raunchier with it. If it would have gone more raunchier, this probably would have done a lot better with me. You know, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Sometimes I felt like the comedy was a little bland and a little safe, especially when I've seen gut busting comedies from this writer and from these actors before. That's my problem with it. I wish this movie would have gone an extra step, you know, and just be like, fuck it. If people don't like it, people don't like it. But if people don't like it, but then you remember it immediately. I don't know if I'm going to remember this movie.
Yeah.
I'm out with it. Sorry.
Like I said, different strokes with different folks. I respect it. I respect the hell out of it. He could have came in here and been like, "Oh yeah, you know, it was cool. You know, just to follow the sequence." But nah,
man. Why do I want to be every other white guy out there right now? You know, trying to play it safe with literally everything they do. You know, the don't laugh challenges. Doing one of those. It's like, fucking laugh. I don't care. Like, go, whatever. Stop being safe. Be disliked. I don't care.
Right, so
white people don't do that. Don't do that.
No, they don't. It drives me nuts. It's like, please, be disliked. It's okay.
It's okay.
People. It's fine.
It's okay. Just do it on your side of town. Do it on your side of town.
That's why I'm in my bubble here at my house. Like,
he's home at his house.
I said, "Oh, right." This is safe. My That Guy Award.
Yeah,
all right, my That Guy Award.
My co-host, give me your That Guy Award. I'm sorry.
My That Guy Award is going to go to Shane. It was until you mentioned it just now, what we all did. There is a Shaft thing going on when he gets cleaned up and he's riding through the night doing what he has to go do. I mean, bro, it's Keenen Ivory Wayans, man. Like I put this movie in, like Skylar said, the Wayans movies are practically its own fucking genre. It's like I know what I'm coming to expect from something that has the name Wayans on it, regardless of which Wayans. You know what I'm saying? But if we're gonna compare a Wayans movie to a Wayans movie, this movie is in a higher upper echelon of Wayans brothers movies, of Wayans movies, period. You know, like
Marlon is fucking up that number real bad.
Huh?
I said Marlon is fucking up the count.
And Marlon is fucking up the count so bad right now. But you know, you talk about Major Pain, and for some people, Bulletproof. We're talking about of course, More Money. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. If you like Most Wanted, you know, you throw that in there. But as far as, of course, Scary Movie 2, and White Chicks, Little Man, You Lose Me.
Dave,
but
please, I'm sorry, continue, Jay.
But it's just, as far as movies that have the name Wayans on it, I'm coming into it expecting the Sixth Man. I'm coming into it expecting a certain thing. So that's my point. So that's why he still makes my That Guy Award, because he created this character to have this real sleek coolness to him. And every comedian did this in the 90s. Like, don't forget, like, every comedian who are typically like known as like just full-blown comedians, and if they had the opportunity to make a movie, whatever, and they was writing, every comedian tried to pull that sexy shit. Like, I could be sexy, because Martin did it with A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Eddie did it with Boomerang and shit like that. Like, they all try to pull that sexy shit. So this is Keenen Ivory Wayans trying to pull that sexy shit. And if you ran with it, you ran with it.
Cool. Who's getting you that chick award?
Oh, Peaches. Oh, my God. Peaches, easily. Number one, not only is she a cool-ass character, she does show that she's not the one to be played with. She also shows her loyalty to Shane. So she was always a fun character to be with. So, Peaches.
Who's getting you that full award?
Sonny, off rip. Sonny was acting out in ways that made no sense only to Sonny. And when he got checked, he got checked. And it's just funny because when the knife is to his throat and he goes, I am simply saying things are getting a bit out of control. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sonny, man.
All right.
All that aggression makes you piss your pants.
Fair enough. Cut that out.
Cut that out. I have nothing to cut out, but I would love to see just more of a development as far as what is this tension and what is the history between Mendoza and Shane. If you're gonna have an Angela character in this love triangle, let's see how that played out. Like Lo said, we're talking about if we got the full thing, what Keenen Ivory Wayans wrote and shot for this movie probably would have been about 2.5 hours long. It's already an hour 40. But, to really get to know as to why, when Keenan goes back into the game to catch this dude that he thought he already caught, but turned out he's still alive, and why is he motivated to go back after that same shit again? And I just wanted more of that.
Fair enough. And so not cut that up. Does it age well?
Yeah. Or does it hold up? Yes. I say it holds up. Maybe this is 2020. The movie came out in 94. I think this movie has a solid 4 more years to at least still get a laugh out of somebody. By the time it hits that 30-year-old birthday, who knows where we'll be in society, but a lot of these jokes will definitely go over a couple years from now.
Dave, I'm pretty sure you're going to see my tag, but from now on, and I'm saying this as the Beat Network owner, from now on, every movie you dislike, you absolutely have to describe it by saying this is the equivalent of going to a strip club on a Monday.
Right.
This line I have ever heard for a disdain movie because my mind immediately went to the open bar until midnight Monday nights type joint. And I'm like, wow, like outside of the drinks, I wouldn't want to be there.
I don't want to be here. It's disgusting.
That was the greatest line I've ever heard. I was like, and he just said it, so it's like a strip club on a Monday night. I was like, damn.
Because I've been to a strip club on a Monday night.
We all have.
We all have.
We all have.
That line was great. That line was great. I'm sorry.
Good show. I'm not going for political office here. And
Iconic scene. I struggle with this one because I wanted to give it to Jesus Christ, the Sports Chalet explosion. It was just, it's so funny because if you know Sports Chalet and you see the layout for it, you think the theme song, and he blows up Sports Chalet, and it's the funniest shit ever seen. But it's so hard not to use that Wayman introduction as it's so fucking funny. It's so goddamn funny. And like Skylar says, he doesn't play it like I don't like gay people. I'm just not gay. So therefore, whatever you thought happened didn't happen. But if you also think about it, it makes Shane a bit of a fuckboy because if you just got done getting cozy with Peaches, but then you were so cool with laying up in the bed with her friend, unbeknownst to you, that friend's a guy. So it kind of changes the rules a little bit. Okay, it's wild. But yeah, that's my favorite one.
all right, let's get into some
Quick hits.
We'll get into the 7 quick hits they got. Ready?
You want to go first? You go first.
There is literally 7 of them.
I have about 9.
9. Sorry. Go ahead.
Kim Fields auditioned for the role of Peaches that later went to Jada Pinkett-Smith. Can you imagine Kim Fields as Peaches?
Nah.
Nah.
Kim Fields is a perfect bougie character. Definitely, she can't play a Peaches Ratchet.
Nah.
At one point in the film, you hear the line, "I'm going to get you something," which is the title of another movie by Keenen Ivory Wayans, where he plays a more bumbling but similar army vet trying to get the murder of his brother solved.
Oh yeah, actually, what's Mendoza's right-hand man name? The one that got beat up by the white supremacists?
Oh, Thorson, the guy, yeah.
Anyway, he says, "I'm gonna get you, sucker," when he brings out the dogs.
Right.
In Peaches' first scene at Shame's office, she's talking on the phone while watching the soap opera. The person on the other end of the phone call is Ken Wayans. Also, love that scene. That's such a funny little bit because we all know women who have that friend on the phone, and if you can hear the actual conversation, she sounds just like that.
And this is my last one. The history of the love triangle between Shame, Angela, and Mendoza is never explained in linear fashion, but it is known that Angela was with Mendoza first. It is likely that while he was a cop, Shame was assigned to somehow get close to Mendoza and did so through Angela falling in love with her in the process.
And finally, Shame tells the bodyguard thug played by Sven Ole Thorson to say hello to Arnold for me before hitting him with the gun. Thorson has appeared on screen in 9 different Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, did stunts and training for actors and stuntmen, and many others, and was actually introduced to the movie business by Arnold, who knew him from when they used to do bodybuilding competitions together. But I always thought it was hella funny because you've seen that dude in a bunch of Arnold Schwarzenegger shit, like straight up. But anyway, that's it. That's Low Down Dirty Shame. Dave, will you ever rewatch the movie ever?
No. But if it depends. If you guys invite me over for a kickback and this is on, I'll be looking at my phone, but I'll watch it with you guys.
Nope. We're not even gonna watch it. We're gonna put it on and just stare at you. Just
stare at you.
See me on my phone looking at 4 strippers on a Monday night.
But Emerald's gonna be at
Come on, you know what her name's not gonna be Emerald. It's gonna be
putting a little more money on a Monday. Bringing in the B team. All right.
That's your guest beat network coming through here on Monday.
That's the Palomino's A team right there.
Oh
man. Good times.
Good times. Good times.
Good times.
Let me go ahead and thank the brothers, Big Los, CEO, Head Honcho, B Network. What's your position again? CFO? No. What do you mean?
Nope, changed it. Flipped it. COO, actually.
COO, there we go. COO, Skyward, thank y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Let's start with Los. Where can they find you, Los?
At Big Los IG on where the fuck am I at? At Big Los IG on IG. Big Los 89 on Snapchat. Of course, you can follow us on the Noise Podcast. New episode of the Noise just dropped today, so 3 days ago for y'all. When it comes out on Thursday, new episode of Noise is out. Of course, you can stop by with us this Sunday. We're going live again with FOH. Come through, talk your shit. This would have been an unpopular opinion for Dave, for sure. But definitely come through and come rock with us this Sunday, FOH, on Facebook Live and on Beat Network's YouTube channel. We're going to simulcast this one.
All right. Skyward. What can they find, bro?
Yes, sir. At Skyward _88 on IG. And also beatnetworkonline.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom, get to that donate button, man. Hit us up. If you like what we're doing, you like the content that we're pushing out across the platforms, please go ahead and support a black business, a small business, a growing business. But we appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me on the show today, fellas.
Word. Danger. Wayans hater. Where can they find you?
Hold up, Wayne's hater. When did I you can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at David Danger Neff. Also on Facebook as well. I am the co-host here at Back to the Classics, as well as, I guess, CFO. I guess that's the title I am. So pay your bills.
Pay a fee.
Pay your fee.
I just feel about more money, I guess. Here. I'm sorry.
Money? I'm interested now. Yeah, that's where you guys can find me at. And my guy, Jay Alonzo, where can they find you?
I'm at all the social media. No, I can't even say that no more. So I gotta break it all down. On Instagram, I'm at official Jay Alonzo. On Twitter, I am back at simply J-Alonzo. And, of course, on Facebook, I am J Alonzo. Of course, our Back to the Classics Instagram page at BTTC Podcast. And, of course, jump on in on Facebook, join our Movie Talk group and Movie Talk page, simply at Back to the Classics, a Movie Talk group or a Movie Talk page. And you'll find links to both. And shout out to everybody, all the center folks on the page. You guys are so dope. And once again, huge shout out to the family out there, the brothers, Big Los and Skyward for rocking with us today. Thank y'all so much. Dave, we're back next week with a heavy hitter to close out Super Throwback September, man.
I'm excited for it. Oh, also, we dropped our first episode for Fireside Chats this past Sunday. It's going to be more, more chat like between just Jay and I, kind of reflection upon the week, as well as lessons I can learn for the upcoming week. So go ahead and check that out. Episode this week was more of an introduction as well as a talk on kindness. So please go ahead and check that out at BTTC Podcast on IG. We go IG live every Sunday.
And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. This is Back to the Classics. I am Jay Alonzo. With me, of course, is
Danger Neff.
We'll see you folks next week. Peace.
Peace.